return to the classics.
Uno, two, tres, four.
Hey, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How's everybody doing? How's everybody's day going? I hope everyone's going well. We have returned for another beautiful episode. Well, okay, I say episode. It is technically an episode, but this is episode 16.5. It's going to be a shorter stream. Um, I'll give context later. Right now, I kind of want to get into everything. But before I do anything, Brutal, how is it going? How have you been? What you been up to this week?
Just try to work on finishing on my car.
Just finishing on your car. Which how's that project been going?
I don't know. Like we're like near completion, but for some reason it's taking us quite long than we thought it would be to find culprits on
What the issues
certain
could
areas
be?
of the car.
Well, I mean that makes a lot of sense. Like, I'm assuming it's not so easy to like figure out.
It's drivable, but I gotta change some things before some of the parts wear out.
I see. Wait, okay, so it's drivable, but like, does it have like issues like turning,
Yeah,
steering, or something?
the shift. There's like shift in transmission.
Oh shit, I forgot to fucking open the stream elements. 1 second, let me just do
It's
that real
just
quick.
it's just a shifting and the oil leak from the transmission that gotta be fixed.
Gotcha. Okay, stream elements is open now. I always forget to do that initially.
How does Stream Elements work? 'Cause I thought
I'm
it
not.
was just
So Stream Elements is essentially just another like website that like you connect your OBS to, and you're able to attach like animations, GIFs, and all these other like channel notifications and stream alerts and stuff. Like that's how anytime when you watch a streamer, you see like their little like someone just subscribed to you, or someone just like sent a gift sub and all that stuff. That's what Stream Elements does.
I thought it was just used. I thought you used the program to stream both on YouTube and Twitch at the same time.
Well, that's what like you use OBS for, and you just stream through Twitch. You use YouTube and Twitch through their stream setup, and you connect it to your OBS, and that's how you do multi streams. Stream Elements and other like Stream Labs, those are just like stream attachments you can put onto your stream to like give it like more of a flair and vibe and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Like you can use OBS for that separately, but Stream Elements is just like an additive you can do to add more elements to it. Like for instance, like the overlay I have, I could have either used Stream Elements for that, but I actually had one made for my channel. So that's why I use OBS for that, and that's how OBS like I can attach it to like a source, and that's how it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm learning as I go, but I'm figuring things out. But anyways, okay, so we have two main topics that we're gonna be going over. Like, we're gonna be kind of getting right into them. Both of these topics are kind of like I wouldn't say it's not as much as not serious. I would say they're like pretty serious on on the lines of being kind of stupid in terms of like what happened in these incidents. But yeah, so these are gonna be the two topics for the tonight. Without any further ado, I guess let's get into it. So, the first one is we got this from Anime Updates on X. Nippos Sakagoku, Nippos Sangoku, creator of Iku Makashuki, has deactivated his X account. In one of the Makashuki's last posts, he said some fan interpretations felt like an overinterpretation of his characters, describing it as painful, and asked the fan works to sexual content not to be shared directly to him. Those posts have been deleted a few hours later, and his X account is deactivated. So, in short, from what I've gathered and I read about this so far, we're gonna go into it. But essentially, a fan, and I'm gonna kind of like break this down now because people have like have had already this like, uh, immediate thought that it was a Western fan that did this. Like the Western fans are upset with him because of this. It's not the Western fans.
Of Westerners
No, no, no. But that's what I'm saying. It's actually not a Western fan. A Japanese fan sent, from what I can tell. Well, you know what? Let me go to the article.
I thought it was Western.
It's not. Again, it can be Western. Western fans a lot of the time are the issues and the cause of everything, but sometimes it's not. And we can kind of go into the discussion why. So,
So you're saying this is like a rare instance where it's
no, I wouldn't say rare. I would say uncommon. But anyways, so the creator Nippon Sagugu Iku Makasugi has deactivated his official X account following the series of posts discussing fan interpretation of the manga, asking readers not to directly share sexual exploitation fan works featuring characters from his series. Before deactivating the account, Makasuchi apologized for using emotional language, clarified that they are appreciated of fan art, and emphasized that they were only asking fans to respect personal boundaries. However, the post quickly sparked widespread debate across Japanese social media, where discussions expanded far beyond the creator's original messages. So, what this is about to go into is what he was sent was a fan sent him boy love fan works that of his characters directly to him. Like they posted straight to his actual X account saying like, "Hey man, look what I look at this great. Don't you just love this?" And it's two of his characters like getting it on. So of course he's gonna see this, and there are a multitude of ways. Like people have already argued back and forth, or he should have just been happy that someone sent him that. Like, for instance, Hassan Piker, how a fan sent him a fucking drawing of him being a furry in diaper, and he posted that shit on his wall.
I don't remember hearing that.
You didn't hear about that? Yeah. So some fan like Hassan Piker gets fan drawings and stuff all the time, and I guess
I'm gonna be honest. I never thought I heard that in a million fucking years.
no, no did I. Literally, so apparently, I don't know why. He gets sent so much stuff apparently, but for some reason, this one drawing really made him go like.
Too because he always had fucking underage girls DMing him.
I can't speak to that. I don't know that. I'm not gonna like even like touch that unless I can get some confirmation of that. I'm sure he's got a couple.
I'm not sure.
Again, I could believe some like teens are retarded enough to just send them direct message because again, like celebrity culture exists, and this was a plethora of like.
But the reason why his song has always been like the more like known like far left content creator is because and that's why he gets a lot of like audience compared to other shitty red tubers because all because he's attractive.
Attractive is a bit of a stud. I say, you know what? He's got a pretty decent body. I'll give him that.
I mean, there's a reason why people are obsessing over fucking Che Guevara stuff.
No, trust me. Like I don't know why people like find some of the most ugliest fucking people in the world attractive, and I think it's only because of like aggression and like tone and power. Like I want to say it's purely because of who he is and his star power. If this man was just some random dude off the street, I don't think he'd be getting as much glazing as he does from women as he does now. It's because of who he is and what he represents.
But what about for Che Guevara?
Same thing. Well, again, kind of like girls are fucking retarded. Girls love the idea of a bad boy and the fact that the bad boy represents something like a rebellion face in them. Like it's like turns them on to the idea. Like, ooh, look at him. He's so like naughty. He's going against the government. I love his style. I love his.
How the face of Che Guevara literally became the most capitalistic thing.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's the very it's irony at its best core. The fact that this guy that basically fought against like the very idea of like the West capitalism views is been plastered on so many T-shirts, flags, coasters, coffee mugs, and he's like one of the most merchandised characters in like history since fucking um uh like Washington. Like
the machine probably just displays that while at the same time being signed to $1 million record label.
Exactly. But anyways, so kind of going back to this. So he was sent oh fucking it, get out of my face. So he was sent boys love imagery of his characters. And as while the online discussion between became centered around boys love BL fan works, other argue that the issue was ultimately about respecting the creator's wishes rather than the fans works themselves. And this is kind of where the actual argument stems from. Like, so you had one side who was arguing it's not right to send him this stuff if he's not. Or there's one argument like, the idea of like these characters getting together is like, why are you sending them your own fanfics? Don't do that, right? But then the other side forwards that idea and is like, wait, it's not just about the fact that they drew these two characters getting it on. It's the fact that they're sending it directly to the creator, and he's not comfortable with that. And he's telling you he's not comfortable with that, and you're getting mad at him because he's not.
Mm-hmm.
The controversy has since become one of the most widely discussed creator-fan disputes in Japan, prompting conversations about shipping culture, fandom etiquette, and where the line is shown drawn between fan interpretation and an author's own vision. And I kind of agree with this. It is literally an argument I've been stemming from for so long, which is death of the author. So if you don't know what death of, I'm gonna just look up the definition.
Yeah, mentioned this before.
Well, it's because like so many people like to argue against death of the author, because like people think it's actually not right to like utilize it as an argument. Here, so I don't like using the fucking AI for this shit. I'll just go straight for wiki. Okay, so the death of the author. Let's see. What is it? Okay. Okay, so they're the other who spawned a literary theory of the same name. Bathurst argues that against traditional literary criticism, practice of relying on intentions and biography of an author, defining explanation, ultimate meaning of the text instead of essay, emphasizes the primary each individual reader's interpretation of the work over the definitive meaning intended by the author. And a possession of this subtlety of unannounced characters may be dawned on with new insight. Essentially, what he's saying is the idea that the writer wrote the character with an intended purpose, like the author wrote a scene where the character did X thing, but because of context given from either the prior incident or the fact of context given that certain scene, a reader can interpret it a different way because how the author written. Despite of what the author intended it for, someone can read it and see it a different way because of what is actually put on the page. So that's death of the author. And this is where the actual arguments kind of come forward into, where, again, I agree. It's on fan interpretation, the depiction of the fan etiquette, and the idea of shipping in general. And we all know that the West fucking loves their shipping. They absolutely love shipping two characters together.
They
Three.
love their shipping and their headset. Like they try to make this shit so hard. Like they try to shove the creators. Like, please make this true. Please make this true.
Again, we go back to the Gachi Ikuda argument.
It's like what you told me the other day about digital circus.
It's so oh my god, I'm so glad I'm kind of really I'm both happy that Digital Circus is ended for three reasons, and one of those reasons is because yet again, this series that I think is pretty damn decent, is it has some pretty good themes, was completely just ground zero for so many fucking fan wars. It's insane. Like, this series attracted some
Oh,
of the
you're saying
worst people.
butchered.
I wouldn't say butchered because it didn't. These retards didn't hurt the series for me. What hurt the series for me is just like the fact that I had a lot of unanswered questions. I think the actual ending, while good, kind of like missed the mark in a lot of areas for me. But I still think Digital Circus is a really good series, and I can only praise Gooseworks for her work. The problem is while I can actually separate again author from work, and I can separate the fandom from the actual series, it took over conversation for over like 2 weeks online after its completion because of the fans. The fans completely like, I would argue when you have a fan base so rabid, so insane, it actually hurts people coming in and watching the series for themselves for the first time. Like, would you be happy like knowing like, hey, I really want to get into Warhammer 40K, and then you have like 1,000 of like people messaging you, arguing with you, and telling you like this is the best, this is the best, or you should love this, or if you don't like this, you're gonna hate you, things like that. Like, fandoms are great, but fandoms can also like basically be a somewhat gate for some people to get into the extras. And I know I think
I know not a lot of people are gonna like hearing this, but gatekeeping can be good at certain
no, a
circumstances.
gatekeeping is almost universally a net good. The problem is this isn't gatekeeping with intention. Like,
Yeah,
gatekeeping with intention is to push away bad actors from
that's
being
gatekeeping only works with when it's universal standards.
exactly when you have a stereo. These people aren't gatekeeping intentionally because of their attitudes and their basically their almost foaming at the mouth ravenous nature. That's what's pushing people away from actually sometimes enjoying a piece of media, is because of these people. It's gatekeeping without intention. They're unintentionally pushing people away because of that. Therefore, they're gatekeeping in a weird small sense. Maybe I shouldn't use the word gatekeep because that's not exact, but that's the only like
You know, I just
really.
find it funny that these are the same people who say that gatekeeping is bad. Well, that's
Well,
not the same
maybe
thing.
some of them not. Again, it's really hard to say. I will say typically these type of fans are usually the ones who are, yeah, on that side of the aisle, and it just so happens they're the ones that are the most crazy. But still, um, but yeah, so that's where the argument started stemming. As the article continues, the discussion began after Mikusu published a post expressing frustration over how some readers were interpreting the series and reacted to bonus illustrations from the behind the scenes content that had long been shared with fans during the break of the serialization. The creator wrote, I know readers are becoming more diverse, but please continue to let me draw freely as I always have. Marcus continues saying, you are trying to see something that isn't there. The post ended with that became one of the most widely shared quotes for the controversy. It feels as though the characters I created have been had their own brains replaced and turned into something completely different. It's simply painful. And again, the reason why I feel like this quote was shared around a lot is because I agree. It's the idea that like you're taking one of my characters, someone I took painstakingly a lot of time to come up with the concepts for their personalities, know where I'm going to be placing them in the story. I have their lives planned out, all this stuff. A character I took such amount of time crafting into someone I can enjoy to write for. And you're basically transforming them into something they're not, into something they can never be, into something I never wanted them to be. And these people are saying, fuck you, we want this to happen. Again, I go back to Gachikura, My Hero Academia, One Piece in some case, like these anime, and not even I don't even have to use anime for this example. It's prevalent here in the West for our shows too. Like, go back again. We were just talking about Major Digital Circus. That's one great example right now. You can go to like shows like Steven Universe, shows like Gravity Falls, shows like fucking Owl House, and all these other series that had these characters written a certain way, and fans came and was like, no, we want these characters to be these ways. Write them this way, and it made so much of the online discourse surrounding these shows so much more just unbelievably unattractive to people. Again, I that's why I keep saying these type of people push audiences away from engaging with the content. Because why would you want to engage in a community where you're gonna get your fucking dick bitten off and thrown into like a ravenous, like monstrous blob of people just screaming and scrouching at you because you don't agree with their fucking viewpoints? It's annoying, it's frustrating, it's just not needed. But the article continues. As the discussion continued to grow, Manga later published a much longer statement apologizing for the wording of his earlier post. And this is where I'm going to disagree. If this is an actual true translation of what he said from Japanese to English, I don't see anything wrong with what he said. I don't see, because again, he says, as he said up here, I know readers have become more diverse. I'm like, yes, there's a bit more diversity in today's day and age when it comes to reading of manga, anime, and all that stuff. But you don't have to like change your language because you didn't say anything bad. I don't think you should apologize for anything you said here. There's nothing here that's wrong. There's nothing here that's offensive. Nothing here that takes like such umbrage to like what people's depiction of you. You're literally telling you, guys, I don't like what you're doing to my characters. It's fine you do it in your own spaces. Please don't send me this shit directly. So earlier I let my emotions take over and I failed to express myself carefully enough. I sincerely apologize. Again, I don't think you need to apologize. I think apologizing is not worth it to individuals who are going to like foam at the mouth because you disagree with what they see in your characters, what they want to do with your characters. I think it's not needed. You don't need to apologize for that. Makasugi explained that the personal illustrations, sketches, and small bonus stories have originally been shared simply as extra content for readers, particularly during the serialized breaks, according to the author. Those posts were never intended to change readers' interpretations or hurt anyone. Again, it's going back to the idea that these are just fun little extra tidbits for people to enjoy. There's no other heavier meaning behind them, but because he does it, people are going to interpret it the way they want to interpret. And this is kind of like an issue on the author's part doing this because you're attaching it to the main series, even if it's a little side thing, people are gonna see that, and like that's where I can kind of say like, death of the author may not play a huge part, but people are gonna interpret it that way because of it. The creator also revealed that the personal post were previously had been moved away from X and to other social media platforms in consideration of the readers who preferred not to see them. However, Makasugi said direct criticism eventually continued there as well, leaving the author emotionally exhausted. There is no intention of hurting anyone through my illustrations or bonus sketches. I will continue drawing them whenever I find time between working on the manuscript. So, if they are not something you enjoy, I would greatly. It would be grateful. Sorry, I would be grateful if you would simply keep a comfortable distance. Basically, like you don't have to read it. You don't have to engage with it. You don't even have to even know it exists. Just pretend it doesn't. That's basically what he's saying. I apologize. The apology also made one point especially clear. Despite the ongoing controversy, Motsuki just stressed that the fan artists themselves were not the problem. I always enjoy looking at fan art. The statement explicitly thanked readers for who created artworks inspiring by Nippo Sakoku. Makushitsu wrote, I always enjoy looking at fan art. I'm grateful to everyone who puts their heart into the work and draws it. However, the author also explains that there's a certain kinds of fan creations that he personally preferred to keep some distance from. After some of the fan creations to contain the sexual expressions, I also keep my distance from them when necessary. I understand that there is no ill intent, but I would appreciate if you could refrain from sharing it directly with me. And again, I don't see that as an issue. If people have continued with this argument, the fact that like, no, you have to accept what the fans, again, it's a tried and true argument that people have like been pushing for years. And we go back to what we've talked about in previous episodes with Gachi Akuda, with what was the other anime? Go for it, Nakamura. It's that the fans become so involved that they start calling towards the author, hey, I know you probably wrote the character this way, but it'd be really cool if you made this character gay. It'd be really cool if you made this character trans. Hey, I read a lot. I've been reading your series for a long time. It seems like this character could totally be this way. This character totally reads to me that they could be this identity. This character could totally be this concept. You know, these things. They keep pushing it, and the authors get upset. And it's because the authors like want to interact with their fans so much, especially here in the West, that they feel the need to do so. But then when they see a bombardment of people like just sending DMs, messages, comments on their fucking post saying, hey, why aren't you doing this? Hey, you should be doing this. Hey, how can we do it? They're the author, guys. They're the author. Let them do their fucking work. They literally have taken, on average, most authors of any series, of any serialized series, any adaptation you've read, any adaptation you've seen, any work you've seen, most of the time, these people have taken years to write the manuscript, to write out the panels, to draw out the actual scenes that they had in their minds for the story. and are now putting it into form of like actually printing it out for manga, for movies, for all that stuff, right? Like, say what you will about, let's say, something like Christopher Nolan's Odyssey. That's a great series. That's just came out, right? He still took like a while to write out the plot summary and story that he wanted to do for the Odyssey. Then he transferred that manuscript over to an actual script so it'd be legible for the actors to read out. This again, you could hate the Odyssey, you can love the Odyssey. He still took over a year to work on that piece of work. Same thing for James Gunn's and his stuff for Superman for Supergirl. Like it or hate it, he still took time to write that crappy ass script. So you can't really sit here and go like, you should change this. No, why am I going to change something that's already finished unless it's an absolute necessity that an author needs to change it? Why would you ask them to change it? It's just ridiculous, and it's just these people wanting to push their own stuff onto it because they, and again, it's great that fans want to interact with this stuff. Awesome. You can't expect an author to just like change their work because you have an itch, you have a need, you really like. You know, it'd be really great if Deku and Bakugo could like fucking kiss at the end. They should end up together. No, why would he do that? There's been no evidence showcasing that these two characters would end up together at the end. You've created this in your own head, again, head canon, and now you want it to become real because you really, really have a boner for it. But so what? That the author's not gonna do that. Just kind of accept that, and that's kind of like the whole point of fan fiction to begin with. Fan fiction was something that was created because fans understood, hey, we are never actually probably gonna get this in the series we want, so why don't we actually write it ourselves? I'm not gonna say that's like the main reason how fan fiction got created, but that's part of it. Like some people are like, hey, I would really have liked to see a series involving what if like there was an interdimensional wormhole that opened up and we got to see Captain Jean-Luc Picard and Kirk from the Next Generation and original Star Trek come together and they meet in like a planet and they fight, right? Boom, fan fiction. It's sometimes just created out of love for the series, out of a wonderment for the series. That's how it is. But now people have actually taken fan fiction and want to make it a reality because they have become so obsessed with either the work or the themes of part of a work that they just need it to happen. They need something to kind of give them that. And I'm like, no, don't stop it. To kind of finish it up, why did BL become the center of the discussion? Although Makashiga never referred to specifically the BL in the apology itself, the controversy quickly became associated with Boys Love for fan works featuring the characters of Nippono Sangoku. I'm sorry. Let me get some water. For main interpretation of readers, the connection may appear sudden. However, the long-time readers have pointed out that the discussions surrounding BL pairings have already become increasingly common following the series. Television anime adaptation of April 2026. Unlike the main action manga, Nabusuku firmly follows the cast of male political leaders, military commanders, and strategists. Much of the story focused around close partnerships between the protagonist Toru and the follower commander Suno. Suno? I think I said that right. Leading many fans to create boy love interpretation of the fan works involving the pair after the anime introduced a series significantly larger audience. And that's always going to kind of happen. Like, a manga will be popular. Like, a manga will either have its small community or become popular enough to, like, warrant an anime adaptation. That's kind of how it usually goes. And usually and people are always going to be more willing to, even though of course a manga doesn't have as many words as an actual tried and true novel, people still don't want to actually spend a lot of time like reading manga or light novels. Again, it's just kind of like a preference thing. Would you prefer to actually read an entire manga of a story or watch an actual TV show, an anime on an entire story? That's kind of how it is, and that's why we say like I don't fault anyone for. I know some people out there always like saying, like, "Oh, you're an anime only person." I'm like, yeah, so what? They enjoy the anime.
Technically, a lot of times I watch the anime mainly because, for a manga, it just takes it to a space.
Well, for me, like if there's an anime I really like, I tend to get the manga. I tend to either read the
Yeah, I
manga
don't mind
or
getting manga, but if it's like it's only but it's all these series I like.
Well, no, but that's what I'm saying. Like, either A, I'll go out of my way to look for manga that interests me in the genres I like for instance, battle shonen and stuff, or I'll basically, or like romances, or I'll essentially watch an anime, get invested in the anime, and then I'll be like, hey, the anime ended here, and it might not get a season two, but I really like it, so let me go actually read the manga now, so that I can continue the series and what's happening to it.
Yeah.
And I think that's how some people should always kind of go into like animes, is like, if you really like this, you have to kind of come to the idea that animes are not always going to be finished.
Yeah.
Most of the time animes are just kind of advertisements for the manga.
Yeah.
Like Uzaki-chan.
It's to like support the creator.
Yeah, but like for instance, like Uzaki-chan, I really like Uzaki-chan. It's one of the romance animes I really got into a lot. But I understood that this anime probably isn't going to be seen in conclusion in anime form, so I should probably go actually read the manga if I want to see the two main characters end up together. To which I did. Like, and I'm still reading it because Uzaki-chan is still ongoing, but I doubt it's going to get a season 3. That's why I say sometimes animes are just kind of advertisements for the manga.
Yeah.
Like, some actually do have a conclusion, but others just don't. And that's kind of like by design. But just kind of finish it up. At the same time, the manga itself established official heterosexual relationships within the story. Antono's late wife, Saki, remains an important figure throughout the narrative, while Suna is married to Shiro. Okay, this is kind of a big thing. I don't actually know this anime that well, but even they're saying, yeah, these characters are both heterosexual and they both have wives. And people are like, let's make them boy love and just send it that shit to the author. I'm like, that's ugh, guys, again, if this was in your own community and then the author just by happenstance like found out about it and he got a little upset by it, that's one thing, right? I'd be like, okay, that's your fault, dude. You weren't looking for that, right? But if you're directly sending him this shit and say, "Hey, look what I drew, Dad," and your dad sees like some dude butt fucking another dude, that's at that point I'm like, I wouldn't have not done that. Again, which again goes back to the actual argument, etiquette in the fandom. You have to understand that there is a decorum you must have in anything like this. But that's essentially the entire argument. Like I said, because of like all this, because again, the main thought is the fact that he decided to apologize, and then he decided to delete the actual messages on his X, but he kept the messages on other social medias because those were like his side medias, and he didn't really think there was gonna be much of it if he kept it over there. But the actual discussion and debate went from X over to his other platforms like Instagram and stuff, which of course caused him to get really frustrated and have a headache, and he started to get really, really dour and depressed, which made him kind of like deactivate his entire social medias. So like going back to the actual main post here. Where was the actual thing? Here it is. So I think this is a great example. It's only got 2 likes. It's got over 2.5k views and stuff goes. But again, this guy right here. So why are authors so soft and can't handle derivatives of their work they knowingly publish for the entire internet? I think this actual post is such a great example of just someone who doesn't understand, like, again, he says derivatives. He's saying like, because the author made the work, he should accept the fact that there's going to be other interpretations of his work by other people, that being boys love. That's exactly what he's saying. Like, he should grow a spine knowing the fact that people are going to make his characters gay. And I think there's a great example of someone who just really, really doesn't get it and only looks at it from a surface level understanding of what the actual, not only the argument is, but the overlining like conversation. Again, the author doesn't care the fact that this boy's love of his characters. In fact, he even stated the fact that, hey, if you do this, that's awesome. Don't fucking send it to me. That's all you had to do. Just don't send me my characters having sex with each other or like touching each other or anything like that. That's all you gotta do. But I've seen so many posts like this, the bias fucker here, who have said things similar to this. And this is kind of where I'm going on with it, is like the idea is like there are just so many, and again, but this mainly stemmed on Japanese X and Twitter and all that stuff. So this guy being a part of the conversation is kind of irrelevant. I'm just using it as an example of someone who just didn't understand the actual main premise. Yep. But that's the end of that story. Brutal thoughts before we move on to the next one.
I'm not. I think I already said what I already
Okay.
said.
Okay. So that was that one. Let's move on to the next one. This one's a bit more interesting as an actual like what's going on. So there's an anime adaptation. So I'll read it. By Anime Trains. Fans demand cancellation of new anime. The announcement of the anime Nii-chan and Yamada-San sparked an online campaign demanding its cancellation, deeming it offensive and harmful. So this manga is getting an anime adaptation that's I believe going to be released in 2027, and so I'm going to actually go in and read you the description a bit better than what's going on here. Well, you know what? I'll use Anime Trends, right? So Anime Trends says the following. The story follows the life of a young woman with an intellectual disability who ends up involved in nighttime work, leading to a tragic outcome. You know what? That's actually really piss poor. I don't really like how the way described it. Like, let me. Okay, I think right here, this is the better interpretation. I think. What is it? Okay, so I'm going to come back and read the top part of this article, but I'm going to go in and read you the description of what this anime is about, okay? So the anime is based on a manga serialized by Kanasona official manga app, Magazine Pocket, known as Manga Pocket, since 2024. Set in Kyogo's Shinjuku in 2012, the story follows Yamada, a nightclub hostess working in an entertainment district, and Nii-chan, an inexperienced newcomer who always seems to fall just a little short. It depicts 12 months of the nightlife world surrounding these awkward yet lovable young women. After Nii-chan is enthusiastic and energetic, she struggles to read both kanji and social cues. People around her ridicule her and label her as pitiful. Despite this, Yamada gradually finds herself drawn to Nii-chan and also watches her continue to work for earnestly and determination. In sharp contrast, the charming visual story portrays an uncomparably realistic depiction of inescapable loneliness, unforgiving circumstances, and its characters' faces. So that's the description. Essentially, it is a series about two girls working at a hostess nightlife. Hey, Mr. Monkey, you missed the first segment, but you know if you always want, you can go back to the VOD and check it out. We talked about a manga author who deactivated their X account, another one, because people just couldn't stop being who they were. But now we're on a series that's well, it's getting pushed to be canceled. Well, people wanting it to be canceled because of essentially, as I described, Michan has a, from what I'm reading, it has a disability. She has trouble reading kanji, understanding social cues, understanding where people are messing with her sarcasm, all that stuff. You know, some people might say she's a bit autistic. I couldn't really tell you what it is because I haven't actually read the series. What's important though is she's a character who's working at a nightlife as a hostess and is having issues understanding when people are messing with her, reading, you know, orders from people and stuff like that. So you have Yamada who kind of plays a surrogate, not only like senpai, but kind of an older sister figure to her, and she really like, you know, admires her because despite people making fun of her, she is very determined, enthusiastic, and wants to work hard at her job. So that's kind of what the series is about. Now, the reason why people are upset is because, as you read along for this actual article and the descriptions, because it kind of just tells you outright what happens, the series takes place over the course of 12 months. So you watch Yamada and Michan get together. They become more and more closer, friendly. Michan keeps working there. Yamada, and I'm assuming, and I'm going with the idea that there's going to be, of course, like some up and downs in their relationship and in their work at the hostess. The problem is, during, I believe it said winter, Michan gets stabbed and dies. So I'm going with the fact that since that was in the descriptions I've read about this entire series, that this is a key element that happens, and it's kind of like not really spoiler territory because it's kind of like it was always going to happen. It was going to need to be a jumping off point for people in the story. So she gets stabbed, and it's important to understand that for this series because one of the reasons why people are wanting to cancel this series is not just because of the depiction of the fact that essentially Michan is, you know, underdeveloped in, you know, in certain areas. Like she has, you know, she's kind of like slow. She's not as as intelligent as others, things like that, right? The disability she has. It's not just the fact that it depicts it in that and the fact that she's working at a nightclub. No. So apparently, they released the announcement of this series dropping in July 26th. And so many people had a problem with that because, where is it? Right here. Oh no, there's the wrong one. 10 years after Summer Bigger killings, fears of prejudice remain. On Shimizu Kawaga Prefecture, mourns are gathered in care facility here on July 26 to mark the 10th anniversary of a stabbing rampage that killed 19 disabled residents, an attack that has fueled cause for prejudice, fear a free society. The mass number of Yumiko care home, which left 26 other injured, while they committed by the former employee who expressed resentment against disabled people. He has been sentenced to death. So before I continue this is one of the main arguments I'm seeing from people why this needs to be canceled. It's not only because the actual anime was announced on the anniversary of this happening, but because of the fact that Nii-chan herself is someone who is disabled and is killed in the series. That is the argument people are making. Before I give my thoughts, Brutal, what are yours? Brutal? Okay, Brutal's having some technical difficulties, so I'll give my thoughts then first. I can understand people's hesitancy with this, and I can totally understand people's emotions with this. Emotions would run high specifically for this. I fucking doubt it was intentional that they released that an announcement on the same day of the anniversary. This hit a specific prefecture of Japan. It's not like something like here, like let's say for instance America 9/11, which caused such an uproar throughout the entire country. This is bad. Don't get me wrong. This is horrible. The fact that someone did this and have such a prejudice against disabled people, but still, it is an incident that was pertained into an area of Japan that had happened in. Should they have still known? Probably. But at the same time, I don't see it as an incident that they did it on purpose or any way to try to offend. I doubt that was an intention. You would have to make a strong argument. Like they would have to actually come out and say, "Oh yeah, we did this intentionally because like we thought it would be a good way to advertisement or something." I doubt the studio would be that dense and that retarded. So I'm just gonna toss away that argument in general. Furthermore, Nii-chan being disabled for the story and these people having actually being disabled in an actual care facility for the disability, again, are not, you can't coincide the two things. Again, this is a horrendous thing that happened to these people. The fact that so many people were killed and so many others were injured is terrible. But again, you can't get mad at the author for the fact that in her story, she just so happens to have a disabled person who was stabbed. Stabbings, again, in most countries that literally have outlawed many actual firearms to the actual citizens, stabbings become much more higher and much more apparent. It's always going to be a thing. Like again, look at London. Like look at England, the EU. Like they have such a like sure per capita here in America we have more and more gun violence, but that's because we actually have guns. In a place like Australia, the UK, and all that, they have way less gun crime, but their crime still is skyrockets between. There's dwarfs ours in terms of like vehicular manslaughter and all those other things. Again, I'm kind of speaking out my ass a little bit. I did research this a while back when I was like in my I think around 2016 2017 because I was in like those debate areas, but ultimately that's what I'm kind of getting at. It sucks, it's terrible. I feel for these people, but again, the anime, you cannot put that on the anime. You can't put that on the creator, you can't put that on the studio. It's just one of those things where it's a coincidence that it happened and it kind of fits the bill. And again, even then, I would probably argue the creator probably understands this. And isn't it good to actually have a series kind of like discuss this kind of like incidents in the anime, using a form of anime to kind of go over discussing, hey, this person has a disability. Hey, you have people persecuting her and people like insulting her to her face, and she's having trouble understanding that. It kind of presents it in this idea like, yeah, maybe we should have people like Yamada who start caring for these people, people like Yamada. And again, I don't know the series. I'm going purely off by the description of what I'm reading and what I was reading from people's comments. Yamada seems like to be the actual character stand-in for the good, what a good person should do in those situations. the friend that Nii-chan needs, the person Nii-chan needs to kind of like start becoming more aware of these social cues, maybe even helping her like, go through her day-to-day life. I can't understand, like I don't know what happens, what makes Mito get stabbed, but still I don't understand fully, but it sounds like the typical oversight that's being revealed during the anniversary of a track. Yes, it is 100% that. It is literally an anime adaptation of a series about a disabled girl who works as a hostess that gets stabbed later on in the series, got announced the same day as the anniversary of a big event where multiple people who were disabled at a care facility got stabbed by a old ex-employee who hated them. Like it says even here, like right here, it says the mass murder of Tsuji Yumiguro care home with 26 other injured was committed by a former employee who expressed resentment against the disabled people. Throughout the day, a steady stream of visitors laid flowers at the stone, a memorial monument, and prayed for the victims who were close to this ward. The names of 11 and 19 people killed and engraved in the monument. Among the visitors was a 62-year-old woman accompanied by a 31-year-old son who came to remember her daughter, Miho, who was murdered at the age of 19. Again, by no means is this like something you should look at and like, again, this is a tragedy. This is very terrible. But again, that's why I go back. You can't look at the anime and be like, you're fucked up. You shouldn't exist because of this incident. I'm like, and it goes back to a while back when we covered Go For It Nakamura, where fans were outraged at the manga author because in Nakamura's like writing, she had it so this way. One the tragedy surrounding a character is sad, but this is an anime. The anime covers a host of topics, even the exactly. And that's what I'm saying, and that's what people are arguing for, is the fact that this is an anime, guys. You can't have expected them to know a situation like this was going to occur or was ever going to occur, or even the fact that they would know about it in this case. Like, again, are you saying the fact that because 9/11 happened here in America, we can never have a story about a terrorist attack or just a attack in general that covered a swath of like of a state, like to try not offend, to try not to like basically like create outrage? You wouldn't want that. You don't want to have real life incidents like completely destroy any potentiality of someone creating works. Like what was it? Again, I go back to Go For It Nakamura. People were arguing for the cancellation of the anime because literally the writer had moments where there was a male character who showed interest in the older male adult teacher, and because he showed interest in him, thereby she was like saying that like it was okay, the fact that like people make arguments like, see, because she has this in her writing, thereby saying it's okay whenever like these type of attacks happen in real life to young girls and young boys. And I'm like, how are you creating that correlation? Where are you connecting that through line? That's retarded. She's not saying that at all. How many of us, when we were in like high school and even in college, had puppy dog love for our older teachers? Like, of course, there was gonna be this very gorgeous teacher you went to school with, like a woman or a guy, and you had a crush on. There's nothing wrong with that. But no, you have to turn it into this like very negative, very hostile thing for no other reason because you're just fucking offended. It's ridiculous. And again, I just going to a different article. Back to this one. So the official X on Nii-chan and Yamada-san anime released a statement on July 27th addressing the adaptation. Oh, and this is kind of where the actual argument keeps going. That's a leap in logic. Would be earn us a gold medal in the Olympics. Exactly. The production community responds to concerns, and like what this is where this actually. So this is an initial controversy that happened in Japan. Like there weren't any. This didn't involve any West. Surprisingly, both of these controversies do not involve Western fans, which is shocking to me. It's involving Japanese fans. Now, before I continue reading the article, I'm gonna actually go to the statement that. Well, okay, I'm gonna finish this and I'll read the statement. The account posted written a statement titled "Regarding the anime adaptations of Nii-chan and Yamada-san." Okay, they actually have it written here in English. So, we, the production community, sincerely acknowledge the various concerns and opinions that have been expressed regarding the content of the work and its adaptation in the animation following the recent announcements. The statement read. It continued, we have decided to adapt this work because we believe that there is a significance in expressing the original manga through animation. We will respect the themes and message of the original work while proceeding carefully with production of so as to not encourage prejudice and misunderstanding. We also seek the advice of experts that include appropriate age ratings and content warnings. And this is where the actual controversy has now hit in America, Western, and why so many people are getting onto this story specifically. People are starting to look at this and look at their statement as, oh, so you're gonna censor the fuck out of this. And normally I would have been like, no, I don't think that's where they're going with it. But lately, some anime and mangas are starting to get censored now because of worldwide appeal. Studios are actually starting to look at like the actual greater world and be like, hey, you know, some places in Italy, you know, Brazil and all this stuff, they really like anime and stuff. But they're not too fond of this character or this type of character or this type of stereotype. So maybe we should pull back on that. I'm like, no, 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 stop, stop, stop. Stop censoring your own work because of some fuckwits in like a state in a country that's not even your own. If they don't like it, cool, don't fucking read it. Stop censoring your own shit, especially when you, especially the fact that you're a studio. You're not even going with the author and asking if you can do this. Most of the time, authors are like, no, we'd rather you actually depict it as it is. Because great example. I really like an anime called Farming in Another World. It's an isekai that's exclusively to high dive. I think it's a nice cozy anime about a guy who gets isekai'd into another world and becomes a farmer with like a tool that can do it all. In that actual series, this dude fucks. I mean, he like in the actual manga, he gets with like almost every like named resident, like you know, in the series, like you got like the actual main side characters. He gets with so many girls, and he has children with them. He actually has kids, right? And so normally it's like, well, what's an issue here then? Because the actual anime decided to change that, and he only has one son, only one, and there's no signs of him actually getting an interrelationship with any other women. Why does this matter? Well, because in the actual manga, this matters because his actual kids play an important role in the actual town and city he's building as advisors, as like let's see, what's it? There are many examples of studios and corporations trying to please everyone and ending up pleasing no. Exactly. Hey, I know that. Yes, I know exactly. Yeah, thank you. So, oh my God, you do? Yeah, I love it. It's probably one of my favorite works. Farming Life in Another World. I really like it. Again, it's one of those few animes that I can look at. It's like this isn't amazing because of its writing. It's just really wholesome and just like really nice to like watch, listen to, and just read. There is no actual greater meaning behind it than literally just I had a shitty life, God's given me a second chance, and I want to be a farmer. Dude just wanted to be a simple farmer and like get a harvest and shit going. It's great. And then he just bangs an angel, a vampire, a fucking centaur, and all these other women. He makes a whole flock of kids.
Really?
Oh, you're back. Hey, welcome back.
I want to check that out soon.
Yeah, I can watch it. It's on High Dive.
Yep.
It's really good. I would recommend. Okay, it's not really good. It's good. It's a nice like. I know, but I don't read it. I think I stopped reading it after the wolves that had their second generation. Oh wow, yeah, that happened really early in the series. I want to say that's like only barely hitting like chapter 3, hen. But yeah, so in the series he like gets with all these kids. But again, they've changed that in the actual anime, and the reason being is because they felt like the actual people who did the anime, the adaptation, felt like it would have basically not tracked well with the audience if he had multiple partners and had multiple kids with those partners. So that's what. Oh, excuse me. That's one of the reasons why they changed it. But in doing so, they made it so this way these characters that were pivotal to the story later on don't exist. So now they're gonna have to find ways to, if they actually decide to make a season 3 and maybe even a season 4, they have to find ways now to explain what characters you're going to use to utilize in these certain events that happen later, and you have to give reasons why they never got together. Like again, if you don't do this, it's going to harm the show so much more, and it's probably going to make it unwatchable in a lot of ways. But that's kind of what happens to these studios. Like they get to like, we really like your show, but we don't like these aspects about it. And the person's like, oh, what specifically don't you like? Almost everything. So we're gonna have to change like 80% of it. So then you don't like their show. You don't like their works. You don't really care for it. You just want to use it to like make a product. But yeah. But yeah, this statement like really like upset a lot of people. Going to the actual post right here. This is actually from the actual official site of Nii-chan and Yamada-san. Is notice regarding the anime adaptation. That's where they kind of give it out the idea, and that's where a lot of people And this guy specifically, like, again, this kind of goes back to the previous comment I talked about from the other guy from the other topic we were talking about, but this guy kind of goes into it too. No, seriously, it's fine to enjoy this trash that is female pimp created on among them ourselves, but letting the world know that there's a way that this way is too bad, right? You have to ever thought about? Oh my god, I do not like the actual like X translation sometimes. It's essentially people going in on it about like the idea of the fact that one, she's a disabled girl, and two, the fact that she works at a host club. Then other people are latching onto the idea about the tragedy that happened 10 years ago. It's going back and forth and on those different arguments, and honestly, it just none of it is needed. None of it is needed at all. It just you don't need to be attaching this to something that happened 10 years ago. There is no connectivity. It's literally just a coincidence the fact that there happens to be a disabled girl who dies in the series. That is it. And we don't even know why she dies. We don't know if it was actually through prejudice or through some sort of like some sort of like actual like hatred towards her. It could have been she just got mugged or something. We don't know. Again, well, okay, I don't know. If you read the series, I would like to know. But ultimately, I'll wait until this series comes out and I'll watch it myself and make my judgment call there. But ultimately, even if it is because someone has prejudice, who cares? It goes back to what I was saying earlier. Like, wouldn't you want a show to kind of depict the idea of how wrong this is? Isn't that the whole point? Isn't that sometimes the point of why people create what they do? Is to give you an idea of the message of a concept of like, hey, this is really bad. How do I want to get across that this thing is really, really bad? Oh, I know, I'll put it into book form or I'll put it into a story. That's one of the reasons why stories were created. We wanted to teach each other right and wrong. We wanted to teach each other lessons. It's not the main reason. Like sometimes a story can just be a story and it's there for entertainment, but there's so many different values as to why we create stories in the world. And this could be one of those stories that literally is like, I want to show people that this is a thing that happens in everyday. Like we go back to the anime we were talking about the other day, the cat girl, the girl who smokes a lot, Chainsaw Worker Cat. Like, right? People hate that anime because how disgusting it is, but it is depicting the idea of addiction and like the idea of these people living in the slums for this entire reason why they're addicted. Like it's like a circle with them. Like it just continuously going. It's an endless loop. It's like I work to get cigarettes to smoke, to spend my money on smoking, which leads me to be poor and impoverished, so I can keep smoking. It's a cycle with her, and it kind of like it really showcases it. So what if it's kowtowed in humor and stuff? It's still what the author wanted to intend with the work, and I think that's fine. I think that's fair. It's showing your thing. I'm kind of talking in circles now. I think let's kind of let it go. Um, but yeah, ultimately that was the last segment I had for us today. Because, like I said, today was just a shorter segment for the Anime Mondays. We're gonna come back next week with a larger episode series. I got more stuff in the talks, and I still want to do the reaction with you of different people's anime works. Like, so there are some people who make some really, really, really bad videos about anime, about like anime communities, and about like anime controversy in general. Like the one I want to show you is just so horrendously bad. It is amazing the fact that it's got an amount of views it has, and it's all because of one subject matter. But yeah, I guess our end things off there. Brutal,
Yes.
what do you have to say for the peoples?
No, they were just try to make this one quick.
I don't think that was really English.
No, I'm saying, this was meant to be a quick one.
Eh, this is a little quick one. I literally think it's only been an hour. But yeah, so I think we covered a lot. I really enjoyed it. I think, guys, we'll see you guys next time. And as always, no matter where you guys are on the world, no matter what time it is for you guys, hope you have a good morning, a good afternoon, a beautiful evening, and a blessed night. Stay safe, everybody. Love y'all. Bye.
Bye. Next week.